There's never been an easier time to create cinematic videos. But with the iPhone 17, it just got disrespectfully easy. In today's video, I'm breaking down everything I know about creating cinematic videos with an iPhone. The gear that I use, camera settings, how I easily set white balance and exposure, shooting tips, and also how I color grade epilogue footage in a super easy way. My name is Christian. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's go. This is the Master Grip from Telesin, and what I love about this setup right here is that you get everything you need to create cinematic videos on an iPhone with this little setup. You have a variable ND filter which will let you control the light, frame rate, and shutter speed, aka giving you that cinematic motion blur. So this ND filter is really important, and it's really easy to use this. The Master Grip itself, it's amazing. You have different buttons, this little wheel on the side. You have a thumb rest. It feels better in my hand than my Sony a7 IV, which is kind of crazy to be honest. When you slap this on, you're basically charging your phone, which is amazing. I love that because when you are filming with your phone, the batteries tend to drain faster. So having this on, you are sure that you're not running out of battery. So that's amazing. This whole setup is super lightweight, but it's heavy enough to give me a little bit more stabilization when I'm shooting handheld. I just tuck my elbows in, I hold this, and then I move like this. And it gives me more stable shots. And under the grip, it also have a screw thread that will allow you to slap this on a tripod, for example, making it easy to get those cinematic static shots, which I personally love. I just love framing and composing an image on a tripod, hit record, and just let the action speak for itself. Just let the frame breathe, if you will. My favorite thing about this whole setup is that you can take it off in 1-2 seconds. That is my favorite thing, because all this would not mean so much if it was limiting me using my phone as a phone. Because let's be honest, if you're shooting videos with an iPhone, you're not only using it to film, you're also using it to answer calls, make calls, scroll Instagram. This is the reason why I can bring this with me no matter if I'm out eating with my moms or if I'm running and gunning and just having fun. And I almost forgot this little light that is also included in the box. Boom, 3 different temperatures: cool, cooler, and warm. This is amazing, and you can use it as a fill light when you're vlogging. And you even have a little mirror on the side, inside here, which is kind of nice to have just to see if everything is looking good before you hit record. But it's also amazing that you can take this off and put it on the table and use it as a fill light, a key light, if you don't want to have it attached to your rig. So to me, this is a really nice extra thing to have. A little light is amazing in low light situations, especially when you are in restaurants and the light is trash. And if you really want to elevate your iPhone filmmaking, I highly recommend you guys getting a proper microphone. This is the Hollyland Lark Mark II, and I love the sound quality. It's actually what I'm using to record the audio right now. This little thing is easy to use on a camera with a receiver that I'm using right now, but you can also use this little thing as a receiver. This will be attached to your phone. And what I love about this is that it has an extra USB-C port on the side. I'm not sure if you can see. So when I use this for audio, I can still add an SSD hard drive. And the audio quality is what you are listening to right now. I'm pretty happy with the audio quality. And yeah, so then you're basically set to go and you have everything you need. Great audio quality, great stabilization, and I almost forgot that this is so easy to go from vertical to horizontal. Vertical, horizontal with the same setup. This is amazing. Really love this. And like I said, the most amazing part, take it off, 2 seconds, make a call. That's it. Alright, so with the camera gear and accessories out of the way, we can now focus on the camera settings, which is the only thing that directly impacts your image quality and the space of your phone. So this is really important to get right. And there's many different variation and options when you are shooting on the Blackmagic app that is free, by the way, that you can use. Gives you way more control over your iPhone in terms of white balance, shutter speed, frame rates, and all that good stuff. And it also gives you the ability to shoot in different codecs, formats, resolution. It's really important to get this right. I've found two different ways of doing this, at least for my workflow, and I want to share that with you guys as well. So the first alternative of shooting Apple log on an iPhone is compromising a little bit of quality to get small file sizes. The second alternative, or should I say the second way of shooting Apple log, is focusing more on the quality and less on space. So I'm basically compromising the space of my phone. And that is my two ways of shooting. So when I'm running and gunning and I'm filming a whole day and I know that I'm filming a lot, then I use alternative one, which is focusing on having small file sizes, right? But it's still good quality. So it's not like I'm losing a lot of quality. It's just that the quality could been better. And the second option is focusing more on quality. So the codec is better, it's bigger file sizes, but I use this alternative when I'm shooting something specific, when I'm bringing my SSD hard drive, or when I just want the best quality. And I'm not shooting in ProRes RAW, I'm not shooting in OpenGate because the file sizes are huge and you will run out of space very, very fast. Let me show you the combinations that I use on the Blackmagic app. Open the app and then go to codec. You want to use the HEVC codec and max bitrate. Go to resolution and hit 4K, obviously. If I shoot OpenGate, it's something very specific. Next thing is the color space. Color space Apple Log 2 HDR. This will give you the flat picture profile, which will give you more information and it will give you freedom in post to color grade it in a cinematic way. And I will show you how to color grade by the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But that is basically it. This is alternative one. This is the way I shoot when I'm running and gunning, and I know that I will film a whole lot of stuff if I'm, for example, doing a vlog. This is the way to go because this will keep your file size small, but the quality respectable and good. Like I said, the clips you saw in the beginning of this video and throughout this video was shot on the iPhone 17 in this codec. Now, if you really want to get the best quality out of your iPhone 17 without shooting RAW or OpenGate, you can shoot Apple ProRes 422 HQ. This will give you a better image quality, more information, but it will also give you bigger file sizes. Bitrate at max. That's it. And that is the two ways of setting up your iPhone for shooting Apple Log 2 on your iPhone 17. One is focusing on space and the other alternative is focusing on quality. In this part of the video, I'm breaking down a couple of tips and tricks to make your workflow smoother, easier, and straightforward. I'm talking about frame rate, shutter speed to get the right exposure, and the white balance, which is really important to get these colors right to, have a pleasant experience when you are color grading. Because if everything is off in camera, then it will be a nightmare to color grade it later. So that's why I always say that the white balance is the first step of the color grade. Now, I'm also talking about stabilization. When you stabilize your footage in the Blackmagic app, it's cropping in a little bit, which is something to be mindful of. But I still recommend it when you're shooting handheld. But when you are shooting on a tripod, it should be off. And I'll show you guys why. But let's just break it down while I'm shooting. The first thing I always do is to check my frame rate, 25 FPS, because I'm in Norway, that's a PAL region. Shutter speed is the double of the frame rate, 1/50. My ISO is at 800, which I think is nice. There's not a lot of noise when I'm shooting in 800, so I will leave it at that. And also, as you can see, you have this LUT box right here, which you can turn on. And now you have a preview LUT, which is a Rec 709 conversion, which will not be baked in the footage, which is really, really nice. So I have that on. I like to toggle on and off just to see. So now I can go here and I go to the white balance. And here is something that I love because as you can see, this image is too cool. The white balance is off. So let's see how the camera adjusts the white balance when I hit auto. You can see the numbers, they change in real time, which I think is really, really nice. Look at that. The tint, the white balance, everything is changing. So now it's set, and to make sure that it doesn't change anymore after I hit record, I hit that auto button again. So it's locked. And if I think that this is too warm or too cool, I can drag things down to make it cooler. But I think that the iPhone did a pretty good job here, so I will leave it at that. And one more thing that is really important if you're shooting on a tripod is to make sure to take off the stabilization, because now I have it on standard, and if I take it off, as you can see, boom, you get the full 24 millimeter from this lens. Because when you have the stabilization on, it will crop even if you have it at standard. And that's crazy because there's quite a bit of cropping there. So when you're shooting on a tripod, make sure to turn it off. And then when you're shooting handheld, obviously have it on cinematic. That's what I do. I prefer the cinematic. Boom, off. And now we can basically hit record. Boom. Switch up to this. Take off the tripod. And I can go closer to the camera like this. To the action. Boom. I can focus on my dog over there, and I can hit the cinematic or standard mode, because when you hit cinematic you lose that preview actually. Yeah, and I can add a little bit movement like this. Gizmo? Yeah, that's looking good. We can also get the focus on the tree and make sure that Alright, so these are the clips that we're working with today, and as you can see, this is Apple Log 2 from the iPhone 17, and these three clips, this one and these two, are basically shot in alternative one of this video, which means that I'm focusing on not having big files and rather, compromising the quality a little bit. But as you can see, the quality here is still very good. There's no noise, and I think it looks clean, and I will show you guys how to color grade these clips. And also, as you can see here, Apple ProRes 422 HQ, which basically gives you better image quality, but also these files are bigger, so you run out of space on your phone faster with this codec and this alternative. So I'll show you guys how to color grade all these with the same LUT that I have up here. It's the RV Cinema Green LUT. Let's just color grade this shot first, and then we can color grade the rest. I will just slap on the node tree that I used for this color grade, and I can just take this LUT right here and slap it on this node right here. And it's really important that you put this as the last node or the last effect. So if you're color grading in any other software where all the effects are stacked vertically, then it's important to have the LUT as the last thing. So if you're color grading in Final Cut, Adobe, or CapCut, all the effects will be like this. So you would have your color wheel, and maybe your second color wheel, and a curve, and then a vignette, and then have the LUT here, right? So the first thing we got to do is to fix the exposure, right? And I just added a curve and basically dragged up the exposure, because you can see this is a little bit underexposed. So I used the curve to drag a little bit more, drag the exposure up a little bit like this. So this is what it's doing basically. And this is looking amazing. In my eyes, this is like ready to go. We don't need anything else but this. So my LUT is doing the heavy lifting here. I wanted to fix the white balance just a little bit. And the reason why is because it's hard to see, but there's a little bit of red colors here that I want to get rid of. So this is before the white balance, and this is after. Before and after. Before and after. It's a small, subtle little change right there, but it makes the whole difference in the end. At least to me, it looks cleaner. It's better. All right, next thing we do is to add a new curve after the exposure node. So now we have fixed the white balance and the exposure, and this clip is ready to go as it is, because like I said, the LUT is doing the heavy lifting. But if you look at the curves, we can go in here and we can drag out a little bit blues out of the image in the highlights and add a little bit of blues in the shadows. So this is basically everything that is going on with this curve. This is the before and this is the afters. So the last thing I did here was to add a power window here, basically a mask to add a vignette. So I added this, I inverted it, and then I went here, I went in here and I dragged down the exposure just a little bit. Boom. It's hard to see actually because the vignette is just a little subtle touch, but before and after, before and after. That is everything I did here, but I added a little bit of a bloom effect here in the end. This is with the bloom, without the bloom. It's giving it this nostalgic vintage vibe. So next clip is this one right here, and I can just copy all these nodes and slap them over on this clip. Boom. This is looking very good already, but obviously we have to fix some things. So let's just reset this node. So what we're basically doing here is using the same node tree, the same nodes, but just tweaking it a little bit. And as you can see, the highlights are really blown out. We have to fix that, and we can drag this down. And as you can see, when we're dragging this down, we are basically dragging down the whole exposure and fixing the highlights. Okay, and then I want to drag up the shadows just a little bit like this. Boom. We can go in here to the white balance. This is the gain wheel, so we can affect the whole image, drag it to the side like this, and I think this is looking great already. Like, this is enough for me. What we could do is go to the curves and just tweak this a little bit further, like for example dragging a little bit more blues out of this because there's more light here. I like to experiment with this just a little bit down like so, and boom, this is looking great. I love it. And yeah, it's ready to go. Same effect, same LUT, same everything. And this is the vignette, by the way. It's just a little touch there. I actually don't think I need vignette in this shot because it's kind of like a vignette around it, like in a natural way, because this is so bright and everything is so dark that I think actually I will take this away and just make it like this. All right, so next clip I want to color grade is this one right here. And before I paste anything, I just want to say that when I color grade, I usually find one hero shot, if you will, or one shot that I really enjoy that I want to kind of mold the whole edit to. And in this case, it was this shot right here. This shot was beautiful. I love the colors. It was clean, and there was not a lot of tweaking here, which makes this my hero shot in many ways. If I use every tweaks from last clip, every clip will get further away from the base, if that makes sense. This one is the base, so I'm copying this. Boom, it's looking good. So what I want to do now is basically go to the first effect or the first node, which is the white balance. So I can reset that by hitting this button right here. Boom, as you can see, and this image is looking great as is. I can check if the vignette is needed, and to be honest, I don't need this vignette. It's too dark with this, and I feel like this image has a natural vignette because the framing here is how it is, and I love this. But what I could do is just drag a little bit of blues out of the midtones like this. Yes, it's looking amazing. I love this look. It's perfect. So yeah, we're leaving the vignette out of this clip as well. Let me just show you the before and after. Before and after, before and after. Let me show you how these will look with the same color grade. We can slap it on this. I think it's a little bit cool, so we can go into the white balance and we can just add a little bit of warmth in this image by dragging up the temperature. It's a slight little tweak, so I'm okay with using the temperature. Let's just drag it a little bit further up like this. There you go. I think that this is looking amazing. We can even go to the exposure here and drag this a little bit down like so, just to add a little bit contrast. Yeah, this is looking great. I love it. Let me show you the before and after. Like this. Before and after, before and after. I think it's amazing. We can just copy the nodes and slap it on this. The reason why I'm using the same nodes here is because, as you can see, it's shot in the same lighting, exact same place, so it makes sense to just make it easier instead of copying these on this. But yeah, that's basically it. And as you can see, the before and after, before, after, before and after. So yeah, here we can just do the same, boom, and it's looking pretty good. As you can see, it's the same node tree and everything is the same. Bloom, vignettes is there, and everything. It's looking pretty good. I love this look. But what we can do is to just go in here, go to the exposure, and instead of dragging this down, we can just reset it like this. Add a little bit more contrast by dragging up the highlights. This will make the image a little bit more contrasty or crispy. And now we're ready to go. This is what we did with this. So we basically adding a little bit more punch, a little bit more exposure, and that's basically all we did here. I hope you enjoyed this color grade, and I hope you have an amazing Christmas with your family. See you in the next video. Have a blessed holidays. Merry Christmas. Stay blessed.